We're going to take things down a couple of notches before blasting them way up in the next video. Today I'm taking you on a tour of Wilbur Wright's birthplace, and we'll be sharing some stories that you might or might not know about the Wright brothers, Orville and Wilbur Wright, but more about Wilbur Wright. These are things I didn't know. You might have, but you know me. These stories are new to me. Wilbur was born in Millville, Indiana on April 16, 1867. He lived for 45 years and died on May 30, 1912. Orville Wright was born on August 19th, my birth month, in 1871 in Dayton, Ohio, and died 77 years later on January 30th, 1948. They were born 4 years apart and never married. These brothers are celebrated as American aviation pioneers. They are credited with inventing, building, and piloting the world's first successful airplane. Their groundbreaking achievements reshaped the course of history. On December 17, 1903, the Wright brothers, with their unwavering determination, achieved a monumental milestone by completing the first controlled, sustained flight of an engine-powered, heavier-than-air aircraft. This historic event took place 4 miles south of Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, in the region now known as Kill Devil Hill, marking a triumph of human ingenuity and perseverance. Their innovation journey continued in 1904 with the development of the Wright Flyer II, which was capable of longer duration flights and pioneering maneuvers, including the first circular flight. Building upon their success, the brothers unveiled the Wright Flyer III in 1905, representing the world's first truly practical fixed-wing aircraft and setting the stage for the modern era of aviation. Welcome to Some Stories of Mine and the series This Happened Here. On our way to the next story, which is a scary one, we stopped at the very interesting museum, the Wilbur Wright Museum. I thought it was fun. So come with me while I show you around this fascinating place. This is Millville, Indiana, the birthplace of Wilbur Wright. This is not just any home, but a place that holds the history of aviation. We all know about the Wright brothers and the controversy surrounding the invention of the airplane, but what I want to share with you are some intriguing facts I discovered about Wilbur Wright. This video is for those of us who can't make it to Millville to see this awesome place. You will see the distance of the brothers' flight here in the parking lot. What's on the sign? Let me read it for you. In 1988, the Division of Natural Resources planned to move the birth home to another location. A group of caring people formed the Wilbur Wright Birthplace Preservation Society to save the site. Their desire and dream was to make an important historical and educational memorial. November 3, 1995, the state deeded the birthplace to the society. It is a not-for-profit organization maintained by volunteers and supported by public donations. Then you will enter the gift shop, which is all these memorabilia. And then outside you will see this plane. I asked about it and was told that it was to show where we have gone in terms of aircraft. This will be a short video because it was unplanned and I had to rush through it because we needed to get to the Indiana State Sanatorium. And some would say that these buildings are haunted. We could tour them, but we will see. We needed to be there to get some footage so that we could tell you some of the stories of things that happened there. Now, there's an episode that you don't want to miss. These stories will come on Friday. Now, back to this tour. My first impression of this quaint little house was how well it had been maintained and the level of comfort the family had. It has been preserved and maintained as a historic site to honor his legacy and contribution to aviation history.
Welcome to the birthplace of Wilbur Wright. Milton Wright, Wilbur's father, purchased this house and acreage for $700 in 1865. The house has had a rough history. It has burned down twice since 1865, and in 1973, due to poor maintenance, had to be rebuilt. The state of Indiana purchased the birthplace for $3,500 in 1929. Governor Otis Bowen presented the deed to the Wilbur Wright Birthplace Preservation Society, LLC, in 1988. As you enter the front part of the house, you see family pictures on the left of Milton, Susan, Wilbur's mother, and two of his siblings, Reuben at age 5 and Lauren at age 4. Milton was a traveling evangelist of the Brethren Church and was gone much of the time. In the living room, you will see a desk dating back to the 1830s or 40s. This is where Milton could write his sermons, keep his diary, or write letters with a quill pen. From these letters, we have learned much of the Wright family. Milton wrote by the light of a kerosene lamp. Throughout the house, you will see kerosene lamps and candles for light. When darkness came, the family usually went to bed. The time was shortly after the Civil War, when Abraham Lincoln was president, so it was not uncommon to see his picture in homes. Susan was a shy and quiet lady. In the kitchen, you can see the work she had to do to maintain the country home. Commonly found in the kitchen during the 1860s, you might find a stomper for cabbage, pie safe, candle mold, potato masher, butter churn, and the cherry pitter. The cherry pitter was used to pit the cherries from the trees in the backyard. Quilting frames, when not in use, might be found hanging on the wall or from the ceiling.
The Wright brothers' big breakthrough was creating a new way to control airplanes, which made it possible for pilots to steer them and keep them balanced. This innovation became the standard for how airplanes are controlled. Instead of focusing on making engines stronger like others did, Wilbur and Orville concentrated on perfecting pilot control, seeing it as the key to solving the challenge of flying. They used a homemade wind tunnel to gather precise data, helping them design better wings and propellers. Their family moved around a lot because their dad was a bishop. This is why Wilbur was born in Millville and Orville, Ohio. Orville's playful nature sometimes got him into trouble, even getting him kicked out of school once. In 1878, after returning from a trip, their dad gave them a toy helicopter that sparked their interest in flight. They loved playing with it and even made their own version after it broke. This early experience fueled their passion for aviation and set them on the path to inventing their airplane. Wilbur and Orville were bright young men who went to high school, but life had a way of twisting their plans. In 1884, their family suddenly moved from Richmond, Indiana to Dayton, Ohio, just when Wilbur was about to finish high school. This move robbed him of his diploma. Years later, in 1994, on what would have been Wilbur's 127th birthday, the diploma was given to him posthumously as a tribute. Now, not long after leaving high school, tragedy struck. While playing a game of ice skating, Wilbur was hit in the face with a hockey stick, causing him to lose his front teeth. This incident changed him. Once full of vigor and athleticism, Wilbur became withdrawn. Instead of going to Yale as he had planned, he spent his days caring for his sick mother and reading books from his father's library. Incidentally, the person who struck him was Oliver Crook Hall, who later became a serial killer. He was a doctor who killed a lot of his patients. Back to the story. Orville now decided to leave school early and started a printing press. That was in 1889. With Wilbur's help, they built their first printing press and launched a newspaper called the West Side News. Despite their efforts, the paper lasted only a short while, but they didn't give up. They continued in commercial printing, even printing newspapers for their friend Paul Laurence Dunbar, who later became a famous poet. As the bicycle craze swept the nation, the brothers saw an opportunity. In 1892, they opened a bicycle repair and sales shop. This venture proved successful, and in 1896, they began manufacturing their own brand of bicycles. Little did they know this business would help fund their dreams of flying. Their interest in flights was sparked by stories of Otto Lilienthal's glide in Germany. Tragically, Lilienthal died in a glider crash in 1896. However, Lilienthal inspired the brothers to delve deeper in aeronautical research. They studied the works of others and began experimenting with flight themselves. Wilbur once said that Lilienthal was the greatest precursor to their work. In 1899, he wrote to the Smithsonian Institution seeking information about aeronautics. Inspired by various pioneers, including Lilienthal, they embarked on their journey to achieve powered flight. Throughout their journey, the brothers remained united, sharing credit for their inventions. While Wilbur took the lead in the early days, Orville quickly joined him, and together they became a formidable team. Their determination and innovation led them from a small printing shop to conferences with world leaders, forever changing the course of history. The Wright brothers' indomitable spirit and relentless pursuit of excellence have left an enduring legacy, inspiring generations of dreamers and adventurers to reach for the skies and beyond. Well, that's it for now. Come back in a few days for ma pierre de résistance, the haunting stories, and a tour of the haunted Indiana State Sanatorium. If you like this video, let me know by clicking the thumbs up icon and sharing it. Also, comment and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Remember to love yourself and others, and I will catch up with you in the next one. Love you. Bye.